If these balls could talk, where tonight we talk about the latest in sports, tech, and pop culture.
Hey, Mark.
As a reminder,
Yeah, say welcome to If These Balls Could Talk.
Hey, you have to cut that out, but hey, everyone, we screwed up again, and Craig isn't on.
Oh, we're not recording, are we?
Oh, freaking A. Too many things for
so
me to
many
remember.
things, Pete.
I got too many
so
things
many
going on
things.
now. I gotta,
still love you, Pete.
Thank you, John.
Now recording.
That dirty son of a bitch is here. Craig. And it's good because Mark messed up the intro anyway.
All right.
You're gonna mess up the intro. Hey, ballers, welcome to If These Balls Could Talk, where we talk about the latest in sports, tech, and pop culture. As a reminder of the format, we each come up with 4 topics and discuss amongst our friends, as you can all see right now, much like I'm sure you do at home. So if you like what you hear or see, please like us or hit that subscribe button, or as John and P love to hear me say, tickle that little bell.
You tickle your own bell, Mark.
Tickle,
Seriously.
tickle.
No, tickle.
This is
It's
weird.
crazy. I like the new intro, though, Mark. You know,
Yeah.
gonna get a little comfortable with it. It's gonna be good, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ties your week. How's everybody doing?
As a reminder, everyone, my name is Mark. We got John, our producer, P, and we're going to welcome to the podcast our friend for the very first time, Aren Paster. Good evening, Aren. How are things with you?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Fresh
I work
meat.
over at RPI, so we just started semester and things are getting moving a little bit.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right.
Do we want to jump right
John?
into the questions, or are we going to see how our days are going?
Stop trying to get creative, Pete. Seriously, man. It's not what we pay you for.
Oh, all right. I'll just sit here in the car. I'll just drink this beer. It's fine.
It's exactly
We pay
it's
Pete.
exactly what we don't pay him for.
Yeah.
I have new glasses on, as anybody who's looking very closely can
Do
tell.
kind of see the new glasses. Yeah.
I just picked them up today.
Sexy
Very
man.
nice.
Jamie's at a weird age where she asks me questions and she feels like a little bit uncomfortable about them. So she's just like, Daddy, I'm like, we're getting ice cream today. Don't worry about it. So after dinner, we went and Emac and Bolio's. And now that Aren lives in Albany, I hope he knows about Emac and Bolio's.
Indeed.
So we got some delicious ice cream and we watched some wrestling because my daughter's awesome. And no movies. We're at a little bit of a movie standstill. We got through all the Now You Can See Me movies and before the new one. And so I'm waiting with bated breath. It's actually interesting because I didn't watch them because they look stupid, and they're not stupid. And so now I'm excited for the third movie. So what are you gonna do?
Okay.
So what's going on, Mark? How's your week, buddy?
I have a question about ice cream Thursdays.
Did you get any new jobs?
No, not this time.
Son of a
No.
I have a question about ice cream Thursdays though. Is it going to continue all year, or was this just a summer thing?
It was an all-year thing. It started during the school year and continued into the summer.
Gotcha. Oh, so it's been going on for like a year now.
Yeah, no, I mean not a year, but most of the year. I think
Okay.
I changed my schedule around last year because Melanie was working aftercare at school. So I was working from home on Thursdays, picking Jamie up, and then a couple of weeks into that, I was like, "Hey, you want to get ice cream?" We got ice cream at Stewart's for a couple of months, and then I started adding in new places. We have another really good Italian ice place called Penny Lane that's in like Colony. And so we've been going to Penny Lane a couple of times. That's actually
They
the
play
weirdest
Beatles music.
No, it's actually they should, but it's actually import from Brooklyn. It's a Brooklyn recipe from an old-fashioned Italian ice shop. So free plug, Penny Lane. You can be a sponsor if you want to be. But it's behind a Chinese restaurant, but in a nice. It's like in a condo, so it's nice, but you'd never know it was there.
Interesting.
So I like your plan because, like I said, I just moved maybe like almost 2 years ago now. And last summer, my wife and I made a map of like every location within 5 miles of my house that's either a brewery, a breakfast place, or an ice cream place.
Hell yeah!
And we spent all last summer walking to those places.
That
and
is
enjoying
cool.
I
their
think that's
wares.
maybe the best part about Albany is that we have a lot of cool food and it's mostly walkable. A lot of like interesting restaurant groups that are investing. It's just kind of a cool medium-sized town, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. John's trying to refocus his video.
Hey, I'm trying to refocus my video.
So
here, I'm gonna go over here.
Before we move any further, somehow, John, when you kept your volume exactly the same, now you're super loud, and I don't know what happened. So just, I don't know, don't mess with it anymore. Just
No, I'm gonna mess with it because now you made me fuck with it, and now I have to make it better.
So go like one or two
Super
clicks
loud?
down. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just the normal John volume that I hear in my head. When
Maybe
you
he's
talk
just
to me.
talking way louder now.
No, that's all right. Oh no, we curse a lot on this show, Aren. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
you can
we
say
are not.
it's okay.
We are not censored. Fuck the fucking fuckers.
My
Yeah.
delicate ears. I'm very offended.
Is that better, Pete? Do you accept me?
That sounds great. All right, let's go.
Well,
How
why
are
don't
you
you
doing?
talk? Why don't you talk
you
about
I
your?
guess I'll go by. So I finished a huge push at work, and I mean, cross your fingers. Let's hope everything's all good. I really hope it is because, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. Let's say like my work hours, not including almost 2 hours of commute each day. This week was like 12 and a half hours, 15 and a half hours, 11 and a half hours, and now like 10 hours today. I think we got it done. We'll see. Here's hoping. Whew. So been that. Our boy is now standing on everything, crawling around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, getting into everything. He was opening the one cabinet that we haven't child protected. He's like, ooh, open and close this door 5,000 times.
He kicks so much ass, Pete. Your kid is awesome.
He's awesome. And we found out now his arms are super long, so he can reach all the way across tables. So he'll just go.
He is your son.
Yes. So he just grabs everything. Yeah, it's exciting to watch him, and I'm hoping now that I've got some more free time and can relax a little bit, get back to like a regular, normal person 9-hour schedule, and actually enjoy my time with my family.
Toddlers are incredibly good at finding things to open and get into, and B, emptying those things out very quickly.
Yes,
So
How they
very
learn,
good.
right?
Yes,
That's how they learn.
but no, Steph has been amazing too in my absence. I want to shout out to her with like. I've been so busy working. She's been like almost working like a single mom for like the last 3 weeks. And I'm very humbled and forever grateful to her because I know things have not been easy either. She still works full time. I don't know, it's a lot. And I feel bad, but it's like, I'm hoping now we can just settle back down and enjoy a little bit the rest of summer. All right.
Parenting is hard.
Yeah.
Straight up.
For sure.
Straight up. You have let's see, you're about a year in, so you have 17 and 3.25 years to look forward to of this.
Until
and
they
then
move
like
out.
Aren, you send them off to college and you're good to go. And you go and you get ice cream and breakfast once that's
Exactly.
done.
Well,
So
yeah.
it only takes 17 years.
Amazing.
How the boys doing, Aren?
Yes.
They're good. They are now a junior and senior in college.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
So like they both have cars. Like I basically have to do nothing beyond like pay some tuition bills and maybe like see them on holidays. Actually, I got to go out and see a band concert this weekend for one of them out in
There you
Worcester.
go.
But
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
they are
Very cool.
us when we first met you, which is ridiculous. Oh, you know what I just realized? We have the wrong
Yeah.
names in the wrong spots.
Be better,
I got it.
Pete.
I got
Just
it.
be better.
Hold on.
Again, like John said, what do we pay you for, Pete?
I don't know. Aren's
Those
name is Jeff.
$0 don't go far enough.
It's a new system.
Well, you know what? I
Relearning
looked.
it
I
on the
checked
fly.
the audio. I checked the audio for you, and by the way, almost no latency. So great job.
We have
buddy.
I didn't do that, but actually no, the graphics actually 0 frames dropped. Fucking A.
Yeah.
It was
So,
expensive as hell, but
excellent.
kudos to NVIDIA's 4th gen of GPUs. Please cost not so much. I bought this one used, so
not
but
a
it's-
sponsor, but you could be.
I mean, you
Can
can
afford
they
it.
got the money,
They can afford it.
and boom, the names are fixed.
Yay.
Thanks, Nvidia.
Yeah.
You're not the devil.
No, just mostly
Just mostly.
the devil. So
All
we
right,
should
shall
get to
we
know
get to-
Aren, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get to
we
know
should-
our friend Aren.
We should get.
Sure.
Now, Aren, as a brother of our fraternity, you've also served as advisor for multiple years. You've seen our fraternity and our alma mater RPI evolve over many years. Please tell us some of the biggest changes dear old RPI has made over the years, and maybe share one of your favorite stories involving the fraternity. The ones that we can actually tell on this broadcast without implicating one of us in a crime.
Sure.
There are no crimes, Mark.
The biggest changes, I was a freshman in 92. So they have put up maybe one
Shitload.
brand new dorm. They renovated, no, two brand new dorms. They renovated that hotel down at the bottom of the hill and made that a dorm.
Oh wow.
They added at least one academic building.
They built a concert hall.
Yeah, oh yeah, they added that.
Did they let
fucking-
people use the concert hall or still no?
So here's a great story. So the first time I was in that building, maybe like, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that, Shirley Ann was having, I'm sorry, the Honorable Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, Esquire, PhD.
Do you still have to be nice to her now that she's not there anymore? Is there like written into your contract?
So she was president for like 20 years.
Oh,
She was
and
president for a while. Yeah.
she
I
just
don't
stopped
know.
last year.
I honestly don't know that I heard anybody say good things about her that whole time. There were certainly plenty of people like danced around describing her, but really nobody was like, man, she's awesome, or like, I love her, or yeah, we have beers and it's beautiful. Like, she was somewhat of a micromanaging tyrant.
Sounds about
It
right.
occasionally made people disappear.
Like disappear, or like no longer works here, or no longer exists, kind
Yes.
of disappear.
Do not mention that.
That's an excellent question. There's definitely one guy who like did kind of like just stop showing up. I'm trying to think of what his name was, like Label or Leibniz. I can't remember. But so okay, so the first time I went into MPAC, she was having a town hall meeting for everybody. So it was scheduled maybe like for a Wednesday at noon or something. Whole campus come over and she can make some announcements. But I had class then. So at like 10 o'clock, she was having a meeting just for faculty. So I'm like, okay, it's going to be the same meeting. I'll just go to that one instead. So me and a colleague go over there. We walk into the building. There's like public safety, campus security officers everywhere, like not checking IDs, but just like kind of very conspicuously like keeping tabs on things.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk into the big auditorium, sit down. Somebody gets up front and is like, if anyone in here is not faculty, please leave now.
Wow.
And I kind of look around. I'm like, and they're like, if you're not faculty, please leave. So me and my colleague got up and laughed and we're like, that's all I needed to hear from this whole meeting. Like, thank you for kicking us out.
That sucks.
And that was the first time I was in the building.
Damn.
But since then I've been back a couple times. It's a beautiful building, but
It's amazing.
fairly underused.
I just wish it would be used more. Like,
Yeah.
been to a couple concerts in there, and I mean, it's an incredible feat of engineering. But you're right, it's
Well, speaking of NVIDIA, right? Isn't that the building that they built with the giant NVIDIA donation back in like
Yes.
2000?
supposedly, yeah.
The giant ship hull.
Yeah.
I was working
Yeah,
for the
so-
city of
so my
Troy when that was being
understanding-
planned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was built
Ship in a bottle.
based on, he made a gift and at the time was anonymous. Since then it's come out that it was from Preem. But they announced it as like the biggest donation ever. So, Shirley put that feather in her cap and played it for a
course.
while. And then it came out in the end that I think it was a donation in parts over the years of stock. So like when he made it at that time, it was like a huge amount of money, but then like the stock went down and it's like, it wasn't near as much as they were claiming up front. I mean, now I'm sure it's way back up, but at the time, they announced it as, I don't know, like 300 million. And as it came in, it was like, maybe it's like 250, something like that,
It'd be like $1 trillion now.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Good thing they built a giant useless building out of it. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And the sports complex that they built.
Yeah, so that's not
Do
too
people
bad.
use the sports complex?
They do, yeah. All the teams have locker rooms and stuff up there, so they get a lot of use out of
that's
that.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they used to be in the armory, and now none of them are there now because they all moved to the sports complex.
I remember. So here's dating us, right? The bar Lionheart, I think off Lark. It's a street off of Lark Street. I was in there one night. I don't know where it was. Like Steph and I think Ted was there. It was just random things. And shout out to my old coworker Ted, wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. But there was just some random dude there that was spouting off. I guess he was like one of the people working on the new sports facility thing at RPI. And I was like, no shit. And I mean, I was probably half drunk, so I don't remember the whole conversation, but he went into huge detail. It sounds really ambitious. I got to go up there and check it out.
I've
nice.
been
I've been
in
So that's
just
probably
the
about 10
gym
years ago
because
now.
they were using, all through COVID, they were using the gym as like the place to get tested. So I've been in there for that. But other than that, I'm not sure I've done too much up there. Just
Gotcha.
big, mostly a gym.
It's like a bunch of buildings near where the field house is?
There's the field house, and then next to that, there's the turf field, which I think was around when you guys were there.
It was.
maybe
That was
after.
there with the track around it.
Yeah. So just up the hill from the turf field is where that the stadium is.
Yeah.
The new stadium, and then the ECAP building's like right next to the stadium.
Okay. Isn't there a dorm up there too?
There's a couple
a
of
little bit past. It was an older
dorms
dorm.
up there. They're like apartment style suite things up there.
Yeah.
So the stadium and the ECAP kind of went into. I'm pretty sure they both just used to be like intramural fields.
Gotcha. Very cool. I got to go up and check that out.
Yeah.
So we're done with that, or at least at time for that. Pete, do you want to ask your question?
Sure. So speaking of building stuff, the internet and John tells me that you're deep into a house remodel for your new-ish place in Albany. Steph and I constantly work on our house. We have a ton of projects going on all the time, even with a baby. We'd love to hear about what you're working on. Maybe some challenges you've run into along the way. Are you getting those kids whenever they're home to help you? And also, why aren't your doorway lions bigger? And first of all, you have doorway lions. That's freaking cool.
I stalked him.
They should be. Apparently, John is like spying on you, but they should be bigger, and you should get 3 more so they can form Voltron.
Interesting that's a great idea.
John, we really should get together.
100%. Let's hang out.
So,
you guys are like neighbors,
so
right?
projects I'm working on right now. So, in terms of me personally working on stuff, like we had our kitchen redone. My house is, I think, from 1930-ish. So,
it's an old one.
pushing
Okay.
90,
Well, mine
80,
too.
80, 90 years old.
That's true. Yeah, right. John's too.
So I had somebody else redo my kitchen because I was like, there's going to be a problem and I don't want it to be my responsibility to fix it. So we paid a shit ton of money and got all that redone. In terms of
that's a great
stuff
idea.
I have done lately, I think in the past couple weeks, I got my kitchen redone, ended up with a bunch of extra cabinets that we pulled out. I just took a bunch of those and kind of Voltroned them into my garage to make a workbench.
Speaking of Voltron, there you go.
Looks really good.
And
Nice.
yeah, this was not too bad.
Okay.
Trying to think what
You
else.
don't need
I did.
much for a workbench.
Yeah,
I used an old desk. I mean, just like
Yeah.
it is what it is.
But it's nice to reuse those old cabinets for stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and they were taking up all this space in my garage because I just stored them in there. So my wife is happier that there's
just like, and now I will put them
space,
together
less
and
stuff.
put wood
Yeah.
and put wood on top of them.
All these things that are meant for holding stuff that are sitting here taking space. I should use them to hold stuff.
Genius.
I mean, I just repainted one of the rooms, so I think I'm like halfway done repainting every room in the house now.
Nice.
And I don't know. I really need to put in I've got a bathroom in my basement, which is mostly why we bought the house, because everywhere
You
in
have a
Albany
Pittsburgh
just has-
potty too?
That's cool.
No, it is not a Pittsburgh potty, but I love that somebody else knows that reference.
I have a Pittsburgh potty. I researched it.
Just the Lowen toilet sitting in the middle of your basement.
Friend of the show,
No,
Stephen
I
Koulis, who
legit- there's a
also lives on
little
Cardinal
room.
Avenue, was obsessed
it's
with my
got a-
Pittsburgh potty for a little while.
It's got a shower and a toilet and a sink.
Oh,
and
wow, it's a
in
full
a
bathroom.
room.
Did it start as a Pittsburgh potty, do you think?
I don't think so, but I really couldn't say.
Okay.
As you know, with like 80-year-old house, there's 100 things. I'm like, why did they do this? And what were they thinking?
I have a milk door.
Yeah, you could have had like 8 to 10
Awesome.
owners, right?
Nice.
I have a
over the time.
milk door,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Right. That is kind of neat, though, to get into the head of like, right, what's the history here? Like, what's the story behind this? Like, why is there this wall behind this other wall? Like, what happened here?
I love the story. I love the TikTok
most
reels.
Of the reason we redid our kitchen was that, I mean, it was dated and old, but it had this island in the middle, and the island was at 2 levels. Like the high part was like cabinet height, which was okay-ish.
That's weird.
And the rest of it was like lower, like maybe not even table height.
Huh.
And my wife is, I'm like 6'4". My wife is like 5'11". So we're like crouched over it, like trying to use the damn thing. We're like, we need to redo this like so goddamn fast.
I was gonna say the only
funny.
reason for 2 heights would be like if there was a higher counter with like bar stools, right, for like a place to eat. But otherwise, sounds like it was worth redoing.
I don't know why they did it, but it was terrible.
So that's amazing, though. A full modern kitchen. That's got to be exciting.
Indeed.
Can we take a moment to ask Pete why he built a secret room and then didn't put a secret door in front of it, and it just has a regular door?
I mean, there's always time to put a secret door in there.
It needs a bookcase door, honestly. My honest opinion, it needs a bookcase door. Do you want to tell Aren about your secret room?
Sure.
Does it at least have that sign that says "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here"?
Yeah, it's. So we noticed when we were living there, right? You walk up the stairs, and there's kind of a catwalk that goes around over the atrium, like foyer. When you first go when you first go in there, and the hallway then banks to the right, and that's where you go into the upstairs hallway where there's all the bedrooms. But if you look left, you're like, it's just a giant wall there. And it overlooks, there's an open part where it overlooks this huge living room, and the dining room is off of that. And you're like, there's a giant block here that's just walls over the dining room. And my dad's looking at it, he's knocking on it, he's like, bitch, you can make like a 20x8 storage room in there. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. Brings over a Sawzall and just yeah, look at the size of this. I'm like, what the hell? So then my dad, for the next week, we had just built a new room in there, but the floor was 4 inches too low, so we had to build right. It was 2x6s instead of 2x10, so it was never meant to be a room. So we had to make a cross lattice to put the new subflooring in first to get it up to height, and made a knee wall because it's a sloped, right? It's where the roof is, so it's sloped. So put a 3-foot knee wall in there, so that lost a little bit of floor space. But what are you going to do with stuff that's less than 3 feet tall? Drywalled it all, and now it's this giant thing. And had to rewire all the electrical because it was just, you could tell this is built in the 70s, this house, because it was like, it's just wires everywhere in there. Like 120 volt electrical wires. No, not at all. Nothing. No. Who needs code? So all those are now properly routed through walls and, stapled to studs and all that stuff, and going through them.
Nice.
Yeah. So we just put a bunch of stuff in there. All of our like decoration stuff, extra clothes, random stuff.
Still needs a secret door.
I know it's insulated to all hell, but it doesn't have its own heating and cooling. So you open that in the middle of summer, it's like, whew, that's pretty hot in there. Or in the winter, it's like, it's a little cold.
So that's how heating and cooling works?
It's how heating and cooling works, but it makes me think it's not insulated.
It is, but it's
true. It's true.
I mean,
one or the other.
It's like 10 degrees hotter in the summer and 10 degrees colder in the winter. It's not like major difference.
Word up. I'm really enjoying, by the way, as an aside, as we're all watching the Bills game, I'm enjoying this run-heavy Bills offense this week because Pete Valdeon, who I'm playing, sorry Pete, has Mr. Josh Allen, who only has 9 fantasy points. So it's going well.
He threw a bunch in the beginning, and then it just became the James Cook show.
James Cook can just keep running and keep scoring, and once they get enough points, they won't want to try to score, and it'll just be great. I am appreciating the way this is. We got one more question for you, Aren.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be right to have Aren on the show and not talk about RPI's long-standing tradition of Hockey Line. So for those who don't know, really quickly, and we're going to let Aren talk about it, this is where the students will line up to a month beforehand to get tickets for RPI's touted D1 hockey team. So tell us about Hockey Line, the longest period of time you've gone without leaving, and your favorite Hockey Line memory.
Excellent question. So I have to start off sadly by saying that at this point, Hockey Line is dead.
No.
Hockey Line does not exist.
Dun dun dun.
It was put out of its misery by COVID, but it was basically on life support before that.
Sad panda. Google still thinks Hockey Line
time,
exists.
It makes me think that probably the last 20 hours spent on Hockey Line ever are by me.
Nice. I think that's really fitting. Actually,
that's a nice bookend to it. Yeah.
Yeah. in terms of a great story, I was just talking about this with somebody the other day because I just went. They had like a hype event to like start the season off and try to get things going. I think like 2 nights ago.
You bought tickets like 2 nights ago because I also stopped that.
I went up there for that. The reality is that I didn't actually buy tickets then. I'm honestly not sure. At this point, the way it works is that you can buy a student ticket, which is general admission for like section 16 and maybe parts of section 15. So basically where we all used to sit, if you guys remember. So that whole area in the rink is general admission. Just buy a ticket, sit wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
With the caveat that there's 3 or 4 people, myself included, who managed to talk the Fieldhouse staff into putting little reserve signs on our seats so that even though I sit right where I should, in my opinion, in the middle of general admission, my seat says reserved. So if anybody was sitting there, I'd be like, get the fuck out.
Right.
I think that is excellent.
There were 1,000 seats around this one, but this one is mine.
Do you still go with the oar?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
If
anyone has ever been
a lot of RPI
to an RPI hockey
yes.
game in upstate New York or wherever, you've probably seen Aren with an oar and a big hat.
Right
I was
there.
gonna put it on. Yes.
Does he have the oar? So while Aren gets the oar, there is a reason behind it, and it's because one of our favorite songs that we love to hear at hockey games is the pep band playing. Oh, he's got the helmet too. Hawaii 5-0. So go ahead. Go ahead, Aren. Why don't you tell him a little bit more about the oar?
So
Oh, you got a sign too. Amazing.
That is cool.
Yeah. So when I was a student, the team, when I was an undergrad, the team was really good. And we had like a ridiculous offense. Mm-hmm. And I've looked back at the box scores and we would score like 5-6 goals. Probably, I want to say like at least a half dozen times that season, we scored 5, 6, 7 goals.
That's exciting.
So the band, to their credit, like if we were ever ahead like 5-0, they'd play Hawaii 5-0.
Nice.
Partly because it totally makes sense. And partly because, in my opinion, it's a fantastic song to play with like a big brass band.
Yes, absolutely.
Got the drum intro.
Yeah. So as fans and as students, we would be like screaming at the band all the time, like play 5-0, play 5-0. Even when, it didn't matter what the score was, we just start yelling at them like, hey, pep band, play 5-0, 5-0. And every once in a while it got to the point where they would like start to play it and like, go through the drum intro and like a couple horn notes, and then they'd stop and all yell psych and like look at us. Huh. And then we'd yell at them like, fuck you, goddamn, play the song.
So just fucking with you guys after a while.
Exactly.
That's funny.
But
incredible.
So that went on probably while I was an undergrad. And then at this point, I just still believe in always going to the games and screaming at the band, play 5-0. Like anytime I see somebody, because pep band, they all wear those like red and white striped shirts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I see somebody like leaving to like go to the bathroom and they walk in front of my seats or coming back with a pretzel or something. I'm like, 5-0, 5-0, play 5-0.
And they know the song.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's funny.
So this great team,
so then at
by
some
the way,
point, somebody gave me a paddle. Like, no, maybe I went to my parents' house and like found an oar that I had, because we would, do just like the old show, we'd start like doing the dance when they're playing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I need a prop, so I grabbed that.
Hell yeah, you do.
Who's signed it?
You guys, I think, will appreciate this. So I've got, let's see, Adam Oates.
There he is.
There's the guy.
Maybe the best one.
The greatest RPI hockey player ever.
Yeah.
And maybe the
Joe
second best
Juno.
one.
Joe Juno, nice.
Joe Juno. And that is Ned Harkness.
Nice.
That one I don't know.
Harkness Field. Harkness Field, Pete.
Is this
the Harkness. Yes, okay.
Is this
right,
high-flying, high-scoring team the Adam Oates team that you are describing?
No, Oates is older, I think, right?
No, sadly, I don't think I saw
close.
either of those guys play.
He was probably like late 80s, right?
80s.
Yeah, they won the second NCAAs in '85.
Okay, that's probably when he was on the team.
Yeah, so I think that
Oates
might
is
have
older
been,
than you. Adam Oates is 62.
Oh, he's Definitely older than
Well,
us.
you know, we all get old.
I know.
So Ned Harkness was the coach of the team in '54 when they won, and I believe he also coached RPI lacrosse. And then he left and went to Cornell, and was their lacrosse coach, and maybe won the lacrosse championships a couple times with them. So he's.
So as we wrap up this topic, Aren, because we're out of time, I just have one last question for you. Does Clarkson still suck?
Absolutely.
There we go. Slaying that.
Yes.
All right, Mark,
And I
let's do
came
it.
awful close. I was at the casino in Schenectady last week, and like walked outside. They're building a new arena for the Union hockey team, like right next to it on the harbor there. And I came real close to walking over there and just taking a leak on some of the iron pilings they're putting up.
Oh no.
So anybody who doesn't know, ECAC Division I college hockey is very cutthroat and competitive, and we hate each other.
Yes.
All right, we would like to thank one of this week's fake sponsors, Steady Strides Insoles. Put comfort first with Steady Stride Insoles, designed to absorb impact and support your feet through the toughest workouts. Steady Stride, step into comfort. All right, everyone, are we ready to kick off this shit?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Capella.
First topic.
Oh, yeah, you did it, man. Rock and roll. Peter, fucking love you, man.
So this let's start that
You're going to
over.
start that one over.
This past week was the start of the new NFL season, and it did not disappoint. Now, we saw my hometown...
it disappointed a little.
Not to me.
Depends
We
on
saw
what team
my
you're a fan of.
hometown... Well, you guys let me talk.
Sorry.
Anyway, all right. We saw my hometown Patriots and Aren's favorite team win against the heavily favored Cincinnati Bengals. Now, unfortunately, John's Giants somehow forgot that they were playing a game, and they made Sam Darnold look like Joe Montana on the 49ers in the 80s. Pete's Bills were playing with their food against the Arizona Cardinals and then decided to show up, although due to Josh Allen just being Superman.
Pretty much.
And believe it or not, only 2 quarterbacks threw for over 300 passing yards. So, everyone, what were the biggest takeaways from NFL Week 1?
Tight ends don't know how to play football anymore.
They'll figure it out. Eventually.
Joe Burrow's still broken. The Giants
Joe Burrow is
still
not
suck.
broken. Joe
He's
Burrow is
broken.
not broken.
The Giants
was-
still suck.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are still awesome.
Yeah, I think that was made clear. It's like the Chiefs look like they're picking up right where they left off.
They're going to be better. They're going to win 17 games this year.
Sorry.
Aren, how surprised were you
Pick
that the
6.
Patriots beat the Bengals?
I just saw it.
I was happy that we got that win out of the way, and we don't have to be just
That was a good
desperate
win.
for it all season
Like I've been telling these two guys. I've been telling these two guys the Patriots defense is still very, very good.
They are very good.
And-
I thought,
and
You're not
made
going to
Joe
win every
Burrow-
game. You're not going to win
they-
every game defensively, man. You're just not.
but they won that one.
Yeah.
And even
Well,
without,
Bengals are
why don't we
still
see how
broken.
many- Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Let's see how many games the Giants win.
They're going to win 0
Are
games.
they going to go 0-17? They're going to go
Yes!
0-17.
They're
Okay.
going to go 0-17. We're
I'm
going to talk
very-
about that.
all right. If you do want me to actually, for like, it's a rare thing, compliment the Patriots. No, well,
Well, they're not a threat anymore, Pete. You can compliment them. It's not
I know,
dangerous anymore.
But like losing Belichick, I thought would maybe be a hit on the defense without losing Matt Judon. Here they are. That's just who they are. It's like the Ravens, in all the 2000s and 2010s. It was like, oh, they're the Ravens. It doesn't matter who's on the team. They have a good defense. The Patriots have now become that in the 2010s into the 2020s, I think. Wow, honestly, for like the last 25 years, really, they've always had a good defense.
Wow, that was a garbage throw by Tua, by the way.
He got hit,
Yeah,
I think.
he does not look good this game. What did we think about the Thursday night game between the Ravens and the Chiefs? I mean, that was a pretty entertaining game, right?
I mean, those
Best
are just
football game of the week.
2 great teams just battling it out. I mean,
They just missed it by a toe.
I know. It just shows you, though, just how far ahead those 2 teams are, I think, than most of the teams in the league.
I agree with that.
Because that was just really good football on both sides.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I mean,
the Monday night game...
Lost by inches.
Yeah. Oh, the Jets.
It's amazing how many blowouts I think there were in week 1.
Why
Like you,
I thought there were some close games, right?
I felt like there were more blowouts
lot
than
of
usual
bad-
for week 1.
There's a lot of bad teams.
There's a lot of bad teams.
There's a lot of bad teams with barely anybody playing quarterback. Like,
But, I mean, the Jets aren't necessarily a bad team, and they did not look like they were ready to play at all.
so
No.
I've been saying for 2 years now that the Jets are a bad team. And no one's listening,
Hey,
but it's okay.
our buddy Rick put serious money down on a bet of Rodgers over under 1 series without getting a season-ending injury, and he lost the bet. But I told him, I was like, shout out to our buddy Rick. I told him, like, I would have taken it as still a good bet.
No, he would have. I mean, come on, that wouldn't have happened.
And then,
Could you
I think we're
imagine?
going to talk about that too. Aaron Rodgers went and told everybody, classically, to relax. It's only week 1.
Right?
That is a true fact.
What do you think, Aren?
I love our soundboard.
Yes.
I really have trouble these days following all of it, so there's just too much.
Don't worry, we just pretend.
Have you? Well, okay, then let's zoom out a little bit, and this is part of talking to like quarterbacks not being great or like things. I feel like the league's transitioning a little bit where you have all these defenses.
Defense is key right now. Defense is king.
They are. But on the other hand, I feel like it's because the offenses in general are kind of going through a switch where they're trying to capitalize on defenses getting smaller and faster. So you see a lot of teams, you see a lot of like power run schemes, like 2 tight ends.
Well, that's the thing. When the return of the running back is probably coming back.
I think so.
Return of the back.
Right?
I mean, it's kind of go back and forth, right?
Return of the
People
back.
go this way and then figure it all out, and then everybody like finds the weakness and goes the other way.
Exactly, right? The league is cyclical.
Well,
like
it's chess, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's trying to overthink everybody else, and like the heavy schemed 4 guys in the booth calling the plays, like observing from 100, like with 1,000 cameras and all the stats. Like it's a very technical game now.
Oh yeah. It's more
now,
like baseball now, right? With
here's the
very
really
analytic
scary.
driven.
Here's the really scary part. You know who also has a really good defense? The Kansas City Chiefs.
Uh-huh.
But they're not as good as they were last
Also,
year.
you know who's going to be healthy?
Well, it's
Probably
only been
next-
1 game though. We'll
Probably
see how
probably next week. This week a little, but probably next week. Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude is just
another speed guy.
swimming in receiving riches.
Another speed guy.
Take the best quarterback.
What do
since
we
Tom
think?
Brady.
What do we think
And-
of the new kickoff?
I hate it.
I don't give a shit about the kickoff.
It just looks so weird. It's going to take me
I mean,
like
but
2
like,
seasons to get
they're
used to
still
this.
going to the 25, 30-yard line. It's literally not changing the game at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
It takes longer. It
Right.
takes longer now because you got to wait. They watch the ball land. What
Right,
the fuck?
It's not good television when you see the kicker go and like everyone's just standing still. And so we probably don't have the game on in the background right now. They just did a kickoff and they had a little window in the corner showing the kicker doing the kick while they had the wide angle of all the players just standing there, just waiting.
So dumb.
It's so weird.
I wouldn't be surprised if they turn it off. Turn it off next season.
Turn off the
I wouldn't be
kickoff.
surprised. Just
I
like
don't know.
change it back.
Oh.
I mean, it's
I
not
don't
adding
think
anything
so.
to the game.
Well, that's not really meant to add something. It's more it was trying to discourage people from just kicking it to the end zone all the time.
Yeah, they want to get
I mean,
more
Yeah, like
returns
it
and they want to
solved
do
the
it
2
safely.
big problems they had of injuries and people not returning at all, but
Right.
it doesn't actually, to your point,
There
like
was a
if the goal
kickoff
is to be
return.
entertaining, there's nothing entertaining about it.
There was a kickoff return for a touchdown. Sorry, Pete.
That was one.
Yeah, the Bills were the first victims of the first kickoff return for a touchdown under the new setup. And the reason for that is the Bills Stadium it's a freaking wind tunnel. It's not even a wind tunnel. It's like swirling winds in there that are unpredictable. And that side of the field, neither team could get it to the end zone. Their kicker.
I just
So
want to
every
say
kick
we
was
don't have to
returned going that
apologize
way.
to Pete. The Bills are well on their way to going 2-0. Well on their way to beating a divisional rival. The Bills
It's
look
not over till it's over. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 31-10.
And
Exactly.
It's over.
There's time. There's
Because
a lot of
Devon
time
Shane-
in football. There's a
Devon
lot of time
Shane-
in football.
catch.
Devon Shane and Raheem Mostert are not playing. They have no running. And
Wait,
the
A-Chain's
offense
out?
looks
He was
flat.
playing today. He's in there.
I thought he was hurt.
No, he's
No.
He
He's
recovered.
He's played. He scored a touchdown. I think.
He got better.
They took Mostert out.
Yeah.
Mostert,
Yeah,
the,
Mostert is
league,
definitely hurt.
Mustard is
the
out.
league leader in touchdowns, who was a shitbag last week.
Yeah, no, A-Chain is in. He's been playing. Yeah, I think he
He's
did
so
score
fast.
Did you
actually.
say A
Listen.
chain or A train?
Yes.
A-Chain.
Wait, no, wasn't there another
Okay.
player named A-Train, or was that from the boys?
A-Train is from the boys.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
I
okay.
just finished
Finish up the
catching up
boys.
on the boys, and that was fantastic.
The
Okay.
boys, man.
Yes, the boys.
All
I
right,
still
we're out
have
of
to watch
time.
season 4.
Move on before we talk more.
Sorry,
We have
segue.
so much to get. We have so much to get to.
Okay, ready? It's the next topic. Dun-dun-dun-dun-bum. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba.
So we're going to keep up with this week 1 talk, and while it's easy to overreact in the second week of the NFL season, it might be time for the New York Giants to pull the emergency ripcord. QB Daniel Jones returned to the pocket this past
Such a
season
New York
after
sports fan.
after a disappointing 2023 campaign that ended with an ACL tear. It couldn't have gone worse, finishing 22 of 42 passing with 186 yards and no touchdowns. 2 ugly. I turned the game off after the second one, by the way. 2 ugly interceptions, one of which was
There
a pick
could have been a
six.
butt fumble. That'd be worse.
There could have been a butt fumble, I guess. But he ended with an abysmal 16.2 QBR, ranked, by the way, because they do keep track. The 30th worst QB in the league out of 32.
Wasn't the worst?
30th worst, apparently. Now,
Yikes.
of the ones that qualified, there is hope for the Giants in Jones's contract, however, and maybe that was the plan all along. The Giants could bench a healthy Jones at any point to ensure that his salary in 2025 doesn't become guaranteed against injury. So, clearly there's no hope for Daniel Jones, but does the mismanagement of his contract, losing Saquon Barkley, and a million other insane decisions speak to a rebuild, or is it just bad management, Joe Schoenheim being an idiot, or something else? And also, what is the most important thing to keep in mind when rebuilding an NFL franchise and be like the Detroit Lions or the Houston Texans?
Step 1, get a good quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, the
that's
Lions don't necessarily have a
step
good
2,
quarterback.
profit.
Pete.
Step 3 profits.
Yeah.
No, but I
Forget
mean,
step
like,
2.
sure, C.J. Stroud accelerated the Texans' plan, obviously. But, I mean,
Sorry.
what did the Lions do?
I thought they scored another touchdown. Sorry.
The Lions aren't playing right now.
The Lions actually, what they did was they built a solid team first, and then they got a quarterback. So there are 2 different schools of thought that you get your franchise quarterback and then build around him. And then the other one is, no, you build a team first and then you find your franchise quarterback. While saying that out loud is easy, it's they're both kind of hard because it's dependent on that franchise quarterback.
I think finding a franchise quarterback is so unpredictably difficult that your only plan is, yes, let's try to build a team, but really the goal is like, let's just keep working as hard as we can to get a franchise quarterback. If we have a team, great. If we don't, great. But I think you're in hindsight looking at like, oh, we did it this way and then that happened. No, they're just all desperately trying every goddamn day to find a good quarterback.
I truly believe that someone got excited in 22. Fucked up. We fucked up, you guys. It's like the hangover. We fucked up bad. But
you fucked up well before that. Drafting him number 6 overall?
What they did is
taking Barkley instead of like Josh Allen. Thanks, by the way.
They tried to build a team around a franchise running back when the age of the running back was coming to an end. They tried to adjust by getting a less, trying to get a quarterback that looked like Eli Manning. I mean, like, honestly, like, fuck that. And
they wanted a game manager? That's a plan.
They just kept making mistakes. They just kept making all these really bad mistakes. So I truly believe that they're trying to get rid of Daniel Jones, and getting rid of him next year is actually the only way.
Yeah.
And just to start over. Shake their hands. They knew they didn't want to pay Saquon. They didn't care about losing.
Here?
Yeah. Well,
like
how much of this is Joe
they should have
Shane's?
ever have gotten here.
How
They
much
should
of this is
never
Joe
have
Shane's
gotten
fault? I feel like this started before Joe Shane got there.
It did start before Joe
absolutely
Shane
did.
because the mistakes, the big mistakes, the linchpin mistakes, are Saquon Barkley before Josh Allen, and then Daniel Jones to try to recover.
Yeah.
And then all the fucking mistakes with them, not paying Saquon, and then paying that dumbass. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like you wasted the draft capital really on Saquon in a way where it's like that was a luxury pick when you didn't have the quarterback to make that pick. But you know what? You made it. He's amazing. You should have kept him, and they didn't even do that. So it's like,
And then the thing that really boggles me is that I watched the Giants Hard Knocks. I don't know if anybody else did, but I did because like I'm glutton for punishment, I guess.
New York fans watch.
I started watching it. Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I watched the first episode.
To see how badly, just watch. The only episode you have to watch is the one where they blow up the whole Saquon Barkley thing. To see how badly they fucked that up, where John Mara, your boss, your billionaire boss comes in, is like hands under his, like sitting on his hands. He's so fucking uncomfortable, and he's like, people really like Saquon Barkley, Joe. Like,
yeah, like don't get rid of him.
Like he's our most popular player, like by far, analytically, like jersey sales, like money, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I don't know, Philadelphia's driving the price. He didn't even say Philadelphia. He said some other teams driving the price up. So we'll see what happens. I heard Philly's out.
Yeah.
The Eagles are going to win a lot of fucking games this
they're
year.
They're another team that's
they are
going to be this year for sure.
Ridiculous. Saquon Barkley looked like a possessed man week 1. Possessed. And I just can't even be excited about like competitively the football season. I just can't. It's going to be so bad.
All right, what's the over under? Let's say the over under is week 9 for Brian Daboll to get fired because he's going to get fired before
and Daniel Jones.
Joe Shen will.
You think so? They're not going to both get kicked
I
out
think
at
the
the same
over under
time.
is week 9. So I'm thinking over or under.
Yes.
Oh
Under.
yeah.
Yes.
And he's coming back, baby.
Under.
He has.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be
Cutlets.
It's not going to be fucking Drew Lock.
Have you heard of Tommy
Drew
Cutlets?
Lock is not going to save the day.
Yeah. Aren, so there's a guy, Tommy DeVito? Like even the name is super
Tommy
Italian.
DeVito.
It's
Yeah, not
amazing.
heard of him,
Yeah. He was the best thing that happened to the Giants last year, I think, bar none. You know what?
He won 3 games when we were 0-6, and then suddenly we were 3-6.
You got a hot rod, super talented rookie receiver right now, and Jones is not doing anything with him so far. Give Tommy Cutlets a chance to throw to him.
Did you see how much fucking coverage Malik Neighbors broke? He's playing with the cornerback and he never got the ball.
He's one of those receivers that's big separation, gets open quickly because he's fast and he's a good route runner. It's like, what else do you need?
Yeah, he's so good. And he got like 50 fucking yards. His stat line was miserable. And so he's going to leave because he's he's a diva superstar just like the rest of them.
Well, they got him for 4 years, so you got a few years to get somebody in there to throw him the football. Man,
did somebody see Tua got his bell rung, by the way?
Yeah,
I saw that.
Tua's walking out.
He looks bad.
He looks bad.
Dude, I feel bad. Tua's gotten more concussions playing the Bills than like. Although last year he was healthy.
But you guys killed him. You're the guys the ones who killed him 2 years ago.
We did, yeah. But he was completely healthy the whole season last year, and they had a great year. He had a great year last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't slide.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, that hit is. They just replayed it again.
Oof.
Yikes.
Dude hit him. He was like, ooh. He knew he hit him too hard. Anyway, we're out of time.
Yikes.
I'm sad. We're going to talk about something that'll make me happier later, so it's all good.
Okay. Wait. One more sad horn for the Giants.
Still don't have to call it out.
Telegraphed. I know. I'm sorry. I'm very tired. My brain is mushed right now. It's amazing the show's running.
I mean, it looks great, man. Looks great. You're a champion.
That was before I ran out of gas.
Dame más gasolina. Dame más gasolina. Next topic, gasolina.
What?
It's all good, man.
Amazing. Okay.
It's a real song. It's a real thing.
Yes.
Yes, it is. All right. So this could eventually prove to be the dumbest contract ever signed in NFL history from a team perspective. So the Cleveland Browns traded for Deshaun Watson in 2022 and then ultimately signed him to a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, it was the largest contract signed in NFL history with the most guaranteed money ever. Now, what has he done since he signed this contract? As of this taping, he's played 13 games in 3 seasons with 2,386 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and 356 rushing yards and 2 rushing TDs.
That's not a lot of numbers.
This includes an abysmal performance against the Dallas Cowboys, where he just looked lost and not on the same page as any of his teammates. Not to mention now 24 separate sexual assault allegations, including one that just came out.
Here's a brand new one.
And the league is currently investigating. It is also worth noting that that Watson is set to start against Jacksonville this Sunday. So, everyone, do we think that Deshaun Watson is past the point of no return? And should the NFL step in with about this contract after yet another sexual harassment accusation?
100%. 100%. I think that we saw staffing, like personnel-wise, not to talk about Joe Flacco again, but personnel-wise, when you take a conscientious game manager, world champion quarterback, and you put it in the Cleveland system, they win the last 4 games of the season, they make the playoffs. And they look great. Yeah. Deshaun Watson, and Marcus said this on the show, Deshaun Watson does not fit in Cleveland, even if he was a good quarterback. And I'm not convinced that he is, by the way.
Not
he just
anymore.
He doesn't fit in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use him.
Yeah. And I also
don't know how to use him.
I also think he's not quite the same that he used to be in Houston. And even if physically he's there, he's not mentally there. Not as much as not anymore.
He's too busy getting massages. He's thinking about his next massage.
Or dealing with the litigations, thrust on him after he did the thrusting.
Being a shitbird is distracting.
Yeah. So my question for this, and you guys talked about like, should the league step in with this contract? I mean, a contract's a contract, right? Like, how ironclad is guaranteed money? It kind of seems
I guess
like there's no way
that's not
out
a good
of it.
way. Yeah, that wasn't a good way to phrase the question. Essentially, should he be suspended yet again?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then essentially he doesn't get paid any of that money.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I would have to think, even though his contract is guaranteed, if he's like kicked out of the league or suspended, that changes things.
Right. Like, are there clauses in those contracts or like windows if somebody is a complete asshole and like legally
personal conduct policy?
Okay.
I mean, let's just think about.
There's got to be an out for a team to not get stuck with that.
Let's think about the difference between the treatment by Marvel of Jonathan Majors and Robert Downey Jr., right? Both with some drama, with some controversy, and race aside, I believe that they tried to slow play Jonathan Majors, and mainly because even though Jonathan Majors turned out to be a shithead, Deshaun Watson is a shithead. You can't just blame the man for getting allegations because he isn't famous in the limelight and all that stuff. But the more things that happen...
But he's had 24.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
the more things that happen, the more allegations that come through, the more allegations that stick, they should start to react because they just look useless. Like they don't have any, they don't have a stick. They don't have any way of keeping the players be reasonable human beings.
Well, it's because he's not trying to smoke pot, so he's fine, in terms of the NFL. So.
I don't want to sound the Patriots fan, but I think it's clear that the commissioner can do whatever the fuck he wants to whoever the fuck he wants. So,
no, that's where I'm getting. I mean, I think that it doesn't suit him to be strict to the players, and so he just doesn't.
Yeah, he's very soft on these.
Here's the thing, though.
Don't
Don't you think maybe the Cleveland owner is whispering in Goodell's ear? It's like, you should kick him out of the league, so I don't have to pay him any of this money anymore because he's not worth this contract. Again, the worst NFL contract ever signed.
Yeah.
So out would be to suspend him indefinitely.
We talked about it. We talked about it last week.
Right, yeah, that's true.
With a reasonable amount of skill players and Amari Cooper and Nick Chubb and the other guy who's running when Nick Chubb is injured.
Love that guy.
I forget his name.
Jerome
Ford. And then like a reasonable number of David Njoku, and then a reasonable number of defensive players, including the bad man Myles Garrett, who ripped some guy's head off once.
Yes,
Cleveland's a really good team. How is Cleveland so shitty when you change one guy? The team is good. It's good from top to bottom. Honestly, so the problem is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, because they were definitely they were in the playoffs last year without Watson, right? Mm-hmm. Watson was hurt most of the year.
And then much better team without him.
You look at the difference between the injured quarterbacks last season, and they showed this a lot. Deshaun Watson not coming to games, not watching games, not talking to his backup. And guys like Joe Burrow, who bought that kid a suite for his family because he's super rich. Well, he's coming to the games and is play calling and is holding the book and with his little lame broken wrist. He's trying to be a good teammate. I just don't think Deshaun Watson's a good teammate. I don't think he's a good person. I think he's the problem, honestly.
He was great in Houston, and I think that that chapter closed when he
But
fucked around and found out, basically.
But for even how long? He had one good season, two good seasons,
2 or 3 in a row.
He had a few.
Yeah. He was very good in Houston, but that's long gone by this point.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing that I'm learning by playing Dynasty Fantasy Football is players' windows of being good are incredibly small.
Yeah, there are a few elites that last a long time, but other than that, right? It's constantly churning. It's a league of what have you done for me lately?
The fact that Dalvin Cook is an afterthought, where Dalvin Cook was maybe top 3 in the whole league, and now Dalvin Cook doesn't play.
Yeah,
and it's not even been 5 years. Is insane to me.
My running back core was Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara for a couple of years, and they rode me to a championship. And now I have neither of them on my team. Kamara is still sort of producing when he's not in jail, but
he just beat that guy up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, almost to death.
Wow. But although I will say, Mark, unfortunately, I did trade for Watson, thinking at least I'd have a viable backup. But now I don't think he's going to be starting by the time I get to my bye week. This is
his ass.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that trade. Honestly, Pete, I didn't like that trade for you. Penix is eventually going to start.
Is he? I don't have time to wait for that.
Well, I mean, Kirk Cousins, another one of the overreacting shitbirds from week 1. Who knows?
I have Mahomes on my dynasty team. I don't need more than 2 quarterbacks ever.
He doesn't play every week. 1
week he doesn't play. So for that 1 week, I will stream somebody.
So to tie this to a little bow, firstly, I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to get suspended. I just don't.
I don't think so either.
What I'm gonna say again, over under week 9, Deshaun Watson gets benched.
So a lot's happening in week 9. The Giants are going to change all their personnel, and
it's a halfway point of the season. It's a halfway point of the season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think?
The Tommy DeVito Giants are going to go 8-0.
They're going to win more than
get them
Danny
into the playoffs.
Dimes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, to bring it back, because it was the Giants question, not a Browns question.
Wait, when is
totally
the Chiefs bye week?
We haven't.
To bring it back, I think that we saw how well Tommy DeVito played with the young players, Saquon Barkley included, and I think he will with Malik Neighbors. Honestly, I think he will.
Actually, I believe that too. I do.
I mean, that's what his crazy mob boss agent said. Look, Tommy's already won the locker room, which maybe is a little exaggeration, but also probably not totally untrue.
He seems like a very personable guy.
He seems like he's nice.
But wait a minute.
You know what? I think it's because everyone loves his mom. Everyone loves his mom. We did. John brought it back.
He returned it.
Everybody likes the backup quarterback. It's just like the backup goalie. Everybody roots for him.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. Until they're the main goalie, and they're like, "You suck."
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
All right.
Anyone got another song, or I'll take it from my list.
Go for it, Mark.
From your list.
Don't you want next topic? Don't you want it? Oh.
I just want to keep singing.
I'm confused. I don't.
Why?
I think it's me because
It is you.
I distracted myself and thought we were still on the same topic.
Yes, because you brought it. No, we weren't. You brought it back to the next topic.
Rewind.
The worst.
It
is
John's.
Rewind.
It is John's.
All right.
topic.
What are we gonna do? So
It's part of the drinking game. Every time we lose track of whose turn it is.
it's so bad. It hurts my head. Well, I know what my last topic is going to be. I'm going to press everyone. Let's talk about something that'll make me happy. The MLB season is drawing to a rapid close, and the race for the playoffs is heating up in the American League. The Yankees are at the top of a lot of those conversations, with Aaron Judge on pace to break his own home run record. Catcher Austin Wells at the top of the Rookie of the Year conversations. And the words Maris and Mantle being thrown around pretty regularly. So they are tied for the best
New York
record.
sports fan.
Hey man, it's all good. It's good. It's good when they're good. They're tied for the best record in the AL, and I think baseball at 83-62 with the Cleveland Guardians. But the Orioles, Royals, Twins are the current wild card teams are close behind. And in fact, with only 17 games left in the regular season, there are only 3 teams in the American League that are mathematically eliminated. Almost 4. The Red Sox, for example, are 4 games behind the Twins in the wild card race, and everybody still has a shot. So how do we think the American League race is going to end? And a continued topic from last year's MLB playoffs, do we think the Guardians and Yankees, or maybe the Orioles, are going to struggle after having to have a bye week while waiting for the wild card playoffs to develop?
I mean, Orioles are already struggling. I think I think they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox.
Oof. Yeah. So John, here's an update. The Yankees are 85 wins now. They're leading the American League.
No, well, because
they're definitely leading.
They split against the Royals. They beat the Royals in 11 last night. A walk-off single by my guy, Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah, they're 2 games up on the division. This is the topic where I pull out the MLB standings for 2024 and read off the chart.
He's like, I know baseball.
Just a little insight.
Well, I mean, I think that it's wild. No teams are probably going to break 100 wins this year, which is interesting.
That is very interesting.
But really, the American League is really close. There's a lot of really good teams. And there's a lot of good teams you wouldn't expect, like the Royals.
I was going to say a lot of these records look very close.
The Houston started very low. I mean, Houston lost a lot of games in the first half, and they've really turned it around. They're winning the West now. So
they're healthy now. They weren't that healthy to start the year. Plus,
I don't follow baseball at all, but make up your mind. Like, is everybody tied or is everybody good? Like, you can't have both.
Everybody's good and tied.
Yeah, that's the thing, Aren. Baseball is such a long season. Baseball is such a long season that it ebbs and flows within the same season, just like that.
So I guess to Aren's point, it's like, is it a lot of good baseball being played? Like does it just seem like every team has a ton of talent and they're just so close? Like a very
every team has every team has
fighting in the mud with each other.
Every team in the American League, a lot of teams in the American League have legacy players. Bobby Witt Jr., great. There's a lot of second generation baseball guys that are playing right now in this current season that are making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of cool.
I mean, it doesn't really matter what teams are doing right now, because as soon as the playoffs start, it's a brand new season. The old cliche in baseball is you're only as hot as your next day's starting pitcher.
All right, so we're gonna start slow for you, Mark. Are the Red Sox going to catch the Twins?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
They do not look like a playoff team right now.
Okay, so of the Astros and the 3 wildcard teams, who is going to emerge?
I am a fan of the Royals.
I think the Royals look great. The Royals have been a tough beat.
I think it depends who they play in the first round. It's all going to depend on the matchups, I think. Now, it does seem like the Guardians and the Yankees are probably going to get those first round buys, which means they get a week off from baseball. And, for teams that rely on hitting, such as the Yankees, that's not going to be a good thing.
Not good.
So the rest is not be a good thing for that. Okay.
And Judge is already showing signs of slowing down, right? How many home runs does he have?
He is 52, and he's on pace for 63, which will break his record.
How can he be on pace to 63 if there's 17 games left?
That's what I read yesterday.
That doesn't sound right.
You don't sound right.
I don't.
I'll look it up.
But it's again. We'll see.
He has 57. He has 57.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
The Rangers won the World Series last year, being a wild card team. They were a team going into the playoffs too, and then they just got hot. So, baseball is such a fucking clusterfuck sometimes.
Well, I think in the end of the day,
you just have to make it into the postseason.
In the end of the day, the real thing that wins playoff baseball is a 1 and a 2 that'll win both their games, right? If you have a guy who'll win in a 7-game series, you have a guy who'll win 1, 4, and 7. That's a lot. I mean, really think about it. And so the teams that have the best pitching, honestly, the guy who's the hottest right now is Kansas City. Is Seth Lugo on the Kansas City Royals. Seth Lugo looks incredible. He looks unbeatable. He aced the Yankees 2 days ago, and the Yankees have probably the best offense in the American League.
I can't believe I was rooting for the Yankees, by the way. I just felt so wrong because I wanted them to beat the Royals.
Damn. It is wrong. Did
everything
your soul die a little bit?
My heart and my soul died a little bit just rooting for the Yankees.
You'd be surprised, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right?
Well, I mean, he just said that
So-
they're not going to catch them though. So
No, they're not.
So my son was at Yankee games today because he goes to school down at Seton Hall, and it's a piece of cake to get over to the city and like he goes there and like hockey games. And
Sure.
shit. But here's their plan for all his friends. So maybe like 2 hours before the game, they'll go online and like find the best seats they can and put them in their shopping cart and let them sit there. And maybe you can leave them there for like a half hour, and then they'll like drop them and pick them back up. And then right before the game, they'll buy the shittiest seats for like $5, use those tickets, get into the game. And then they'll keep grabbing those tickets that are good in and out of their shopping cart until maybe like 20 minutes into the game.
that they're just empty.
Which at that point, nobody's going to buy. And they just move down there to the good seats.
That's brilliant.
That's so smart.
Wow, that's breaking the system right there.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
gonna-
like, I can't be mad at you. It's fucking brilliant. Yeah.
The Yankees are going to hear this in the podcast and they're like, oh, we got to shut that down.
So
That takes a lot of work though, because they usually only
Yeah.
give you at most like 10 minutes to stay in the cart without doing something.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of trick it.
You got to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Keep bringing them in.
So 3 16-game winners in the American League. Chris Sale, clearly. Seth Lugo, Kansas City Royals, and Tyreek Skubal on the lowly Detroit Tigers.
You
Now
know what? We haven't even talked about the NL because you have the Braves for whatever reasons. They're always good, even though they never have any big names anymore, or at least ones that they've the big free agents. They have the homegrown ones, and then you have the Phillies and the Dodgers. Those are the 3 big teams in the NL. I mean, personally, I would.
And all those teams are very strong.
Yeah, I would love to see the Dodgers lose just because I hate them for spending all that money.
Are they going to lose in the first? I mean, obviously they'll win their division. Obviously they'll get their bye. But are they going to lose in the first round again?
Probably
Last
not.
3
They have the
years.
pitching. They have
Last
the
3
pitching.
years they've lost in the first round.
Yeah,
Right.
they actually have decent pitching this year, so probably not.
Well,
We'll see. Time will tell.
I need the Yankees
Yes.
to win this year because I've been
not gonna
saying,
Who's
Aaron
your,
Judge-
who's your ace right now?
Carlos Rodon, 15 wins. Hey man, it's happening. It's happening. He doesn't need to do much. He
Former
doesn't-
janitor Carlos Rodon, nice.
Oh no, he has 14 wins. I'm sorry,
story,
but I
though.
mean, he looks good-ish. Good-ish.
Yeah, that sounds very confident.
I'm very confident.
Goodish, yes.
Goodish. Good adjacent. All right, we're done. We're done with that.
All right, we'd
Yes.
like to thank another fake sponsor, Pro Bounce Basketball Shoes. Jump higher, cut faster, score easier with Pro Bounce Basketball Shoes. Engineered for maximum bounce and control. Pro Bounce, rise above the rest.
Bounce.
That was very smooth, Mark.
Very bouncy.
You're very good at your sponsor voice. Now we got to get some real ones.
I know. I have a good face for video or for radio, right?
No, it looked and sounded great.
All right. Wake me up before next topic. Don't leave me hanging on like a rocket. I had to do something to rhyme with topic.
So Rocket totally
That
does.
works.
All right. Rail N-Teen may not be a name that you've heard of, but he used to be the vice president of content for the Washington Commanders. And one day he was scrolling on his dating app and he happened to come across a very attractive woman and they went out on a few dates. Little did he realize this woman had entrapped him as she was a reporter for the O'Keefe Media Group and covertly recorded their dates. On these recordings, N-Teen was heard saying that players were homophobic and, quote, dumb as hell, possibly due to too many hits to the head.
Wow.
He was also very demeaning to Jerry Jones, stating that, quote, he really runs the NFL and hates gays and black people.
Interesting.
Again, he was ultimately fired.
Well, yeah.
However,
He's in trouble for telling the truth then?
That's
never mind that.
all right.
So, everyone, is it fair or foul for an undercover reporter to thirst trap the Washington Commanders VP on a dating app and ultimately get him fired?
I mean, if he got fired
Journalist-
for like mouthing off on Jerry Jones, who we know is an asshole, then that's kind of shitty.
I mean,
but
journalists have been doing shit like this for the history of journalism.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find.
The name of this journalist has still not come out. They've been keeping that
Interesting.
under tight lip.
is
gotta
that
find
just for
shit-
her protection? Do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to find shit out. And I mean, if you do a dumb thing, like poor Sterling Sharp got fired today for accidentally having sex on Instagram Live. I mean, like, you know,
it wasn't the Instagram Live that was accidental. It was the sex that was accidental.
I mean, like,
sorry.
No, apparently the story goes that
he was just live streaming and then he just forgot.
No,
that he was
apparently
still
the
live
story
streaming.
goes like he threw his phone on the bed while he was in the middle of it, and it like he's saying, and obviously he's lying, so I don't know what actually happened, but he's saying that he just pressed the button accidentally because like the angle was kind of skashad shitty, so like he didn't do it on purpose, but he was definitely fucking somebody. So I mean, like,
wow.
I mean, he's getting his popularity's up. His podcast is very famous. His podcast is very popular, and he's doing very well. But yeah, ESPN
He'll
was
get
like,
another TV job.
ESPN was like, I'm sorry, dude, we gotta fucking fire you. But I mean, like,
you said Shannon Sharp or Sterling Sharp?
Shannon Sharp. I'm sorry.
So he's on Fox, not ESPN.
Was this like a normal consensual sexual thing? Like,
yeah, just girl at the bar. He's handsome, famous black man.
It's not illegal.
He is a very handsome, famous black.
See that in this country, I feel like it's like we're so prude compared to the rest of the world.
I think we're a little. That was a little prudish for something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp. I just confirmed.
People gonna do people.
But anyway, I mean, just like I don't think you should blame the journalist for being a journalist. She was just doing her thing.
She was. No,
Does he deserve to get fired for this?
Yeah, I mean, yes. We should in this country, we should minimize the amount of shitty, small-minded people who are in charge.
I mean,
minimize.
Okay. But keep in mind what he
wasn't.
He wasn't saying that he's homophobic. He's saying that other players are homophobic.
No, he.
And I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
But listen,
okay?
Well, listen.
When you bring up in a conversation things like racism and homophobia, I mean, you think a certain way and you're doing a certain thing, and like, I mean, you just can't talk like that. Like my dad, who's 85 years old, and God bless him, sometimes he says shit that he can't say anymore, and I tell him, I'm just like, Dad, you can't say that anymore. You just can't.
But I mean, if he's accusing others of that,
I did
were
not
there
see
actual
this,
like racist and homophobic things that he said, like
I did not see the story.
Opinion.
I did not catch it, but I mean, it does not surprise me that there are shitty executives in the Washington Commanders organization.
He was there during the Daniel Snyder regime. He's been the VP for 3 years, I believe.
I am not surprised.
Maybe he's worked for the team for 3 years. It was something like that. So he was there during the Daniel Snyder regime. But again, no suspension or anything like that. Is just immediate termination. You think?
Well, obviously we don't understand the whole story.
Yeah. And this was entrapment, right? He thought he was saying something in confidence to someone.
Yeah, that part seems a little sketchy to me because it's like,
yeah, but why do you say shit like that to this person that you just met? Like,
I mean,
why would you say that?
It's shitty, but as an American, it's technically his right to say that stuff. But or at the very least, like he should have known that he was on the record. Right? Like, don't journalists have to say like?
No. She was undercover. He had no idea she was a journalist.
Okay.
No idea.
No, but I mean, like,
doesn't she have to disclose that she's going to release the stuff for him?
He didn't get fired.
It's all different in different.
He didn't get fired because he got caught. He got fired because he said shitty stuff.
Well, right, of course. I mean, people are going to go on a date. That's not a problem.
I mean, we literally just talked about it with Deshaun Watson. People should get fired for their behavior if they are in a public position.
But I'll admit that I know none of the details. But from what I've just heard you three say, you don't know the details either. So
no, I don't.
It's unclear to me whether he was saying other people are racist or he said racist things.
Welcome to If These Balls Could Talk, Aren.
Yes.
Welcome.
He was saying
different.
From what I understand, he was saying that other people were racist. He wasn't saying that he was racist.
Right.
He wasn't saying racist things.
Yeah. So I'm not sure he did anything wrong.
Then why did he get fired?
That doesn't look good, right?
Because if I'm the person that just got said, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm like,
oh yeah,
this guy said shitty things about me. Fire.
I mean, if Jerry Jones truly does run the NFL and someone found out that he's talking shit about him, I mean, Big Daddy Jerry Jones got mad.
Oh, he also
lay it down.
He also called
Big
Goodell.
Sports doesn't want you to know that some players are gay.
Right. Apparently, he also accused Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, of being a $50 million puppet. That'll get him fired. even though it's
he said a
probably
lot of
true.
bad things. He said a lot of bad things that are probably true.
I mean, at the same point, right. Well, it's his right to say this stuff. It's also, the NFL is a private organization. They have the right to, these teams are privately owned. They have the right to fire him if they want over this stuff, especially if they feel like it's a legit damage to their brand. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. Exactly. So I
free
don't
market
see
economy, baby.
Yeah.
If you're a shitty employee, you should get fired.
Well, I mean, especially if you're bad mouthing people in your own organization. So on that side of it, I totally understand.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
But in the legal sense, or that kind of thing, or conduct, personally, I don't see anything wrong.
Honestly, I think he has a case against the NFL and the Commanders.
He might for setting him up like that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in Washington D.C. you are actually allowed to record people without their consent. I could be wrong about that. Someone please fact check me on that if they can. And I'm not necessarily talking about us, but any of our listeners or viewers. But so that might be something. But again, he didn't necessarily say that. That he didn't necessarily say racist things or homophobic things. He was just commenting on other people.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty raunchy stuff.
I don't think it's black and white. I don't think it's black and white.
But
the District of Columbia follows the one-party consent rule. So yes, you can record somebody without their consent.
Okay.
As long as somebody is.
Good to know.
Don't go to Washington D.C. Check.
Well, at least
go
don't
to
go there.
D.C. Just don't say shitty things.
Yeah, don't go there and say shitty things about your bosses for the job that you're in, because that would be,
Or don't get caught in the thirst
my
trap.
house in D.C. Can I defend that castle and shoot you for recording me?
Yes. And we're out of time. Out of time. Sing to me, Mark. I need to look at my question.
This is what it sounds like. Next topic.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna jump back to sports for the drag question. We've been talking about a lot of sports, so let's not talk about sports at all. It's time for the MCU hype train to continue. Choo choo. Next week, we get to see the next chapter of the Westview saga, the setting for WandaVision. Agatha All Along is Marvel's 13th TV project since WandaVision airing in 2021. Jack Schaefer, showrunner for Agatha All Along, was there at the beginning, also running WandaVision, and now he's prepared for all the fan theories as well as the weight of the mixed reviews of the MCU in Phase 5. So, are you excited for this show? Can Catherine Hahn lead an MCU project? And do we want more Marvel horror projects in general? And other genres, even, of Marvel projects.
I am looking forward to this. Yeah. This is a sequel to WandaVision, right?
Yeah,
kind of, sort of.
It is the next chapter of the WandaVision saga because it is happening after it.
Yeah, at the very least, it's like a tangential spin-off thing, and I like that it keeps in a creative direction too.
Yeah, personally, I don't think Catherine Hahn is a leading lady.
I don't either.
She's
so good at being a supporting actress.
She's great. She's excellent at being a supporting actress and a character. Because she's very funny.
That's why nobody suspected her as the villain in WandaVision. Oh, sorry, spoilers.
She hosted Jimmy Kimmel for a few days, and because he does that whole thing where he takes the summer off and has people guest host a show. I didn't think she was a very good guest host. She just seemed a little stiff and not herself. So to me, it wasn't very entertaining.
That's disappointing.
And so we'll see, but I am looking forward to it because I did like the story of Agatha, and I love everything that Aubrey Plaza does.
Oh my God! Right,
Aubrey Plaza, yes.
Aubrey Plaza is amazing.
Catherine Hahn was just on Kimmel promoting the show, and she talks about how she got this role in the MCU, but it's this backpage character who's never had her own standalone comic, who's been around for 1,000 years. Agatha has been around for a while, right? She's in that whole mystical arc of the MCU.
Right, she's like an ageless sorceress, pretty much, right?
Right, she's been a witch for 500 years or whatever. hundreds of years. And so she never thought it would, she thought, I'd be in this project and it'd be fun and I get to work in the MCU and then just be done. And it went so well and she was so popular that she got a call while she was working on Glass Onion, said, hey, do you want your own MCU show? And she was just like, no, of course not. I don't want that. But she couldn't tell anybody because it's the MCU. So she had to sit with all these really famous actors and be like, oh, shit, I just got my own Marvel show. What? But I mean, it's just interesting because how characters hit is very like prevalent to how they're promoted. I don't know. Catherine Hahn is funny. Agatha's going to be really funny. I think a lot of the things Marvel is doing right now is like referencing things that worked to try to like recapture the magic, and WandaVision worked, and so they're like, let's just do another, right? Yeah. Elizabeth Olsen doesn't return our calls, so maybe we'll just get Catherine on.
Let's try to rehash things that worked in the past. Hey, let's hire Robert Downey Jr. to play a different character.
A different character, yes.
Yeah.
Which someone's
like,
got to explain.
Deadpool's funny.
Oh,
everybody
man.
loves Ryan Reynolds, and I mean that shit worked.
Sure.
Like that is the most profitable R-rated movie ever in literally the history of the world.
So,
I mean, like
it was very entertaining.
Confession.
Aren, did you end up seeing Deadpool and Wolverine?
I didn't see that one. No, I saw the first two and enjoyed them, but
I confess I
very
have
good.
not seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet either. Aren,
well, you don't do anything, Pete. So
I've had. No
I mean, you
life
work.
I've had no
you
life
work
for the
and
last
you keep
month.
you work and you keep your baby human alive.
And
So I mean
go
that's something.
Yeah, I work, I keep my human alive, and I go to Alaska to marry people. That's what I've been doing for the last month and a half.
That's Pete's life in a nutshell.
Yes.
very nice.
And now we've caught up with Pete's last year and a half.
Yes.
All right. What about anything else in Marvel? Like, are you caught up on stuff going on? Like, what was the last Marvel movie you saw?
Oh, me? No, I never got on the Marvel train up front, so
Okay.
now I'm like
Oh, okay.
1,700 movies behind.
What's
I'm like, it's not worth the effort.
Does it feel like an
Favorite guilty-
impossible task? Yeah.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure movie? Something that you know is stupid but you love anyway, like Marvel.
I don't know. Certainly, like I think back, like when I was in high school, I watched Fletch like 400 goddamn times.
Yeah.
Chevy's the man. Fletch is a great
Yes,
film.
that it was.
I mean, I'll always love
But
the
yeah, in
Black.
terms of guilty pleasures, I don't know. I mean, I'll stop all the classics. I'll watch. I got like 6 or 7 like great 80s movies on my TiVo right now. I've been trying going through. I just turned on and like AMC was showing Police Academy and Revenge of the
Police
Nerds
Academy movies.
and fuck, what else was there? Like 2 or 3 more. I was like, oh my god, I need to record all these and watch them for like the 17th time again.
Yeah.
Spies Like Us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What about the
Spies
last?
Like Us.
The Last Starfighter. That was one that came to my mind. I love that
There
movie.
you go. That's
Real
a good one.
Science.
Classic.
Real Science. That's a great movie.
Oh yeah, Real Genius.
yeah,
that was
yes.
on the
Oh,
list,
Oh, Real
yeah.
Geniuses. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And Real Genius.
Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Yes.
Yeah. Real Genius is better than Weird Science.
Yes, absolutely.
So, funny story. I know how to flip a quarter on my fingers because I was obsessed with it when I watched Real Geniuses for the first time.
So you learned that skill because of the movie?
100%.
So he's got it. You got to show us. You got to show us.
Yeah, I
Can
can
we
still-
see
I
a
can still do it.
demonstration?
The mic,
So
the boom is kind of
There
hiding.
used to be a video store like up Hoosick, almost to where
Nice.
Walmart is now, and we went up there to rent Real Genius, and they're like, "Yeah, our copy broke." And we're like,
No.
okay,
Oh.
when are you getting a new one? And they're like, "We're not." And we're like, "Yeah, fuck you."
Was that Blockbuster?
No, it was
Oh,
Pre-Blockbuster.
pre-Blockbuster.
Green Gems was the name of it.
Green Gem. Okay, yeah, no.
Screen Gems, yeah.
But yeah,
I know
when
Screen
we,
Gems.
when we got there, it was
Yeah.
just a Blockbuster, I think. And now that's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all but one.
Yeah.
No, that one closed too, I think.
Yeah,
Though
because
Did it finally close?
the last Blockbuster documentary on Netflix is actually really, really
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
they made pretty good business while we were there because we'd rent every single video game once, and then they'd wonder why we never rented them again.
We didn't.
Never
we
mind that.
definitely
Never
I'm
mind
not
that.
going to explain the
No,
details.
we're
of
not
that.
supposed to talk
Definitely-
about stories. We're going to get incriminated, Pete.
We definitely didn't do anything illegal when we did that.
So
We-
what?
we just
what
rented them
system
once
was
and
that
we
that
just-
you were renting for?
That was PlayStation 2, I think, where we.
Okay, so-
I also did that for Super Nintendo.
We might or might not have had a chip that
How did
might or
you-
might not have been
Wait
able
a
to
second.
copy Xbox games onto the Xbox.
I had my still copy SNES game onto.
No, might or might not have been able to copy that game.
That is impressive. Because those are just straight up like assembly, right? Like those are just like
You could save
3 megabyte ROMs.
Like,
Yep.
like somebody can take like 5 or 6 discs.
Mhm.
You could also save like your save and like jump back into like dual level.
So that's like early emulators, because like right now emulators can do that pretty easily. And by this point, I mean Super Nintendo is pretty.
Because it's 3K a day. It's 3K a day. You have 500 terabytes on your computer.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
The biggest.
it's a different world we live in.
Right, the biggest Super Nintendo games ever made were Donkey Kong Country and like Chrono Trigger. Those were 32 megabit, so they're 4 megabyte ROMs. I mean, that's like nothing.
Yeah. That was 2 floppies. It was tough. Yeah.
Right.
Math.
Like Doom,
All right, we're
Doom
out of
2
time,
was like
gentlemen.
5 times bigger than that.
Doom.
Doom 2.
Don't you miss the floppy disk?
Didn't somebody
You're a
get
floppy
Doom to
disk.
run inside of Doom?
I am a floppy disk.
Yes.
Thank you for
It's
noticing.
amazing.
You can run Doom on a. You can run Doom in Minecraft. You can run Doom in Minecraft. You can run Doom on some EKG devices. You can run Doom on anything, honestly.
Sorry, I was
That was a
gonna.
quality fucking game.
Yeah. You guys remember all
Was.
those Doom clones like Rise of the Triad,
Oh,
Hexen? That was a little bit later. Duke Nukem 3D.
just like everyone, everything ID Software did, man.
Yes.
Fucking Carmack, that guy.
Genius. All right, I don't have a next topic.
Carmack
I
works
wanna
for
have one.
Lyft now.
I got
Did you
one.
know that?
I got
Okay.
Ready?
Carmack's trying to help Lyft code self-driving cars. That's what he's doing.
Oh, at least he's out of Amazon now.
Yeah, that's true. Sing to
Go
me,
ahead,
Mark.
It's the next topic. Next topic. It's next topic. Yow.
That was good.
Nice. I thought you were gonna do Ghostbusters.
I lost my. Hold on.
Your mic's
All right.
really. Your mic was really pissed off at you for a second, but I think
Just
it's
in the
better.
beginning,
Okay.
then it was fine.
All right. So I'm gonna talk about an uplifting story before John bums us out.
So sad.
So John Bon Jovi is considered an American hero by some for his music, but
Is
news
he?
broke out that he actually, I said some, but news broke out that he actually saved a woman from a possible suicide in Nashville while he was nearby recording a music video on a pedestrian bridge. Now, he had noticed this unnamed woman on the wrong side of the bridge, looking like she was about to jump, and he safely brought her back to the other side.
I saw
this
the
was
picture.
actually-
It's really incredible.
This was actually not his first experience talking to people in crisis, as his foundation, called JBJ Soul Foundation, regularly deals with those affected by hunger, poverty, homelessness, and many other instances where people are down on their luck. So, everyone, what other good human stories involving celebrities do we remember?
Harrison Ford flying a plane and rescuing somebody.
You know, that's the very
was
first
the first
example
one
that
that
I
came to my
have in
head.
here. It was in Wyoming, and he piloted a helicopter and saved stranded hikers.
Yes.
Wasn't there some Marvel actor who like saved people from like a car crash or something last like year or so?
It sounds familiar. Yeah, I can't think
There
of
have
who
been a
it was.
few. Believe it or not, Vin Diesel once saved someone from a horrific car crash.
I mean,
But
really?
back when the Fast and Furious, like the
I'm
first Fast
thinking
and
it-
Furious.
Renner, is that a choice for like a Marvel actor?
Jeremy
Jeremy
Renner
Renner,
saved his
yeah.
nephew
Oh.
from a 2-ton
The snowboard.
snowcat
Right. He,
and
There you
almost
go.
died.
By all
Actually,
accounts, he shouldn't-
in Jeremy
he shouldn't be
Jeremy
walking
Renner's head,
anymore.
he was like, "I am going to die
right.
by
Yeah.
doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway."
Talk about
And he should have
selfless,
died,
man.
but he didn't.
Somehow, yeah,
Yep.
he's the $6 million man now.
Well,
he's
we have
There
to
you go.
pause and we have to say probably the top of this is Chadwick Boseman being a superhero while having cancer
oh yeah.
and dying of cancer and going and helping cancer kids feel better about their lives while he had cancer and being
Absolutely.
a superhero.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was
More the quiet
epitome
hero,
of
but
selfless.
still.
More that's just the epitome of selfless. Like he
Yeah.
literally didn't tell anybody. He didn't want attention for it. He was just like,
Yeah.
I am dying, but also I have a platform and I should take advantage of that platform. And I think that's really beautiful, honestly. When he got the Lifetime Achievement Award after he passed at I think a Oscars, and his wife accepted it. You could tell his wife like really like truly loved this man and like really felt his goodness inside of her because she was just so grateful, like so wonderful. Just a really good moment in Hollywood and media. But the Jeremy Renner story, I mean, Renner, like he's like a spokesman now because he shouldn't be around, and he's like a shoe spokesperson. He's just like, I run now, even though all the bones in my body were broken.
I mean,
you got run over by a 2-ton machine.
Wouldn't you?
Like, you think about
if you were told, like, dude, your entire, like, half of your body is jello, you'll never be a regular human again, and now he's running. Like, could you imagine how grateful you would be, and just like you'd never take.
Yeah, he's a wildly humble man too.
Much less running.
I think so.
I
think so. I really do.
It's truly inspiring.
All right, I got I did a little research and looked up some other really cool stories. I mean, Dolly Parton, if we remember from the pandemic, she actually donated $1 million to COVID-19 research.
And she made a killer version of her song by singing "Vaccine, Vaccine, Vaccine."
Some other going back to Marvel stuff.
Broke my head, buddy.
I just broke John.
Going back to some
to be a hero, though. If you got like your own theme park and you donate $1 million, like boom, you're a hero. Come on. I mean, it's great.
I don't think that's a good one, Mark.
That'd be like me chipping in $50.
I'm just getting started here. Come on. First of all, how many of us have donated? Whoa. How many of us have donated $1 million to anything?
Okay, point of order.
But for her, that could be like me donating a quarter.
Right.
It's percentages. I've donated $100 a lot. It's the same.
Right.
And we just literally came from Chadwick Boseman and Jeremy Renner, who are both actual celebrity heroes.
More. And I'm going. All right. That's just the first example.
I will say Dolly Parton's
I'm building up
stuff, though.
Continue.
Yeah.
Building up.
Continue.
Okay?
Continue, Mark.
But that was a clear choice.
So.
High five, Aren.
All right. Going back to.
You just got roasted, Mark.
Boom, roasted.
I didn't even slapped.
I got a couple Marvel examples as well. Tom Holland once saved a woman from getting crushed for a barricade for people trying to get his autograph.
Oh, wow.
That's another beautiful man. I love me some Tom Holland.
He's a good guy.
Tom Hardy actually chased down someone who stole and crashed a moped back in 2017. Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, helped a delivery person who was getting assaulted by 4 men. Like he hopped out of a running Uber and saved this delivery guy that was just getting beaten up by 4 people.
Oh wow. I think I remember that.
And then Batman, Michael Keaton, once Heimlich Dennis Dugan while he was choking. But one of my all-time favorite ones, Danny DeVito once sucked snake poison from Michael Douglas in 1984 while filming Romancing the Stone.
Wow. That was going to be my guess, Romancing the Stone. As soon as you started saying that, I'm like, that's got to be Romancing.
That's so funny.
Damn.
Literally stuck snake
so
poison.
Weird.
I know. Would any of you guys do that for me?
That's suck your snake poison?
As long as it didn't poison me and kill me, sure.
Well, you spit it out.
That's true, yeah. Sure, yeah, I do that for you.
Yeah, hawk tui.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
All right,
that's something.
You're reverse hawk.
Yeah, that's something else.
It's a little weird.
Right?
It's a little weird, bro.
Edit that out.
You made it weird.
I'm not gonna.
No, I think I'm gonna.
I'll suck poison out of you,
it.
Mark. I'm not gonna do that other thing.
Sorry, you know what? There's one more. There's one more that's actually the best one of all.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Steve Buscemi returned as a fireman after 9/11.
Oh, that's fucking
That was
awesome.
the best one of all. That was the best one. Because before
That's
he
a good
was,
one.
wait a minute, before he was an
No.
actor, he was an actual fireman.
I do.
No, we
yes.
started right at the top with Boseman and Renner. I don't
Okay.
think you can actually beat those.
Then call it a last but
Honestly.
not least. How about that?
Steve Buscemi
Still a
was
good
a
one.
fireman.
That's cool.
Did he get run over by a fire truck to save a small boy?
No, he just returned to be. He's just like, I'm not acting anymore for a
So,
little bit. I'm going to
so
be a
like
fireman.
Steven Seagal becoming an actual police officer, is that heroic?
Well, if he, yeah, but
Or
isn't
weird.
Seagal like an asshole police officer?
He is an asshole police officer,
Most
but that's my
likely,
point.
What a great segue to the next topic.
Hey,
of
there it
assholes.
is. Speaking of assholes, but Mark, do we have to sing first, or is it inappropriate?
I don't know. Might be a little inappropriate now.
It's the final topic.
This is. Oh, actually, yes. Shout out, R.I.P. James Earl Jones. This is the final topic.
That was a really good James Earl Jones impersonation. And to take away our normal final countdown that we totally didn't rip off talk, please bear with us, but it is time to talk about something serious. So unless you live under a rock, you've heard that Miami Dolphins star receiver Tyreek Hill was pulled out of his car and put in handcuffs after an average traffic stop on the way to the game before Dolphins' Week 1 victory over the Jaguars. Hill was stopped for going an estimated 60 miles an hour. Not verified with radar even, and pulled out of his car onto the ground in handcuffs. Only 90 seconds later, 2 hours of body cam footage was released by the Miami-Dade police, showing the interaction between officers and Hill, and public outrage both by the Miami Dolphins, NFL fans, and the public following a clear, unnecessary escalation by the officers. So this issue brings up a lot that I can't speak to, specifically the Black and minority experience, which I think this whole story is about, especially when dealing with law enforcement. So my one question is, will the public spotlight brought on by the NFL and Tyreek Hill, probably the best player in the NFL right now, hopefully bring a change to policing in this country, or are we doomed to repeat our past mistakes?
All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys want me to be serious or super serious about this topic?
Start with
you can answer whatever way you want.
I have a very personal perspective from this. If you want to get super serious,
Let's do it.
If you're willing to share.
All right. Let's be honest. I am a minority. I am a person of color in this country. I was raised by an Italian family, though, so they did not really have a good way to explain certain circumstances that minorities have to face. But I have been essentially facing racist comments as a minority since I was 5 years old.
Damn.
And again, this is not something that I can go to my parents for, because this is not something that they've experienced. This is something that, when you are a minority but you're raised by other minorities, you can have that shared experience. I did not have. I had to learn a lot about how this world is run. Based on my own experiences. And I also lived in a very white neighborhood, so there wasn't any other people for me to talk to about this kind of stuff. Now, being young, and again, I've been experiencing this since I was 5 years old. Being that young, you don't truly understand what's going on in certain circumstances. Me now being almost 40 years older, I fully understand now what was going on. Now, you do happen to pick up certain things that are, either people are being ignorant or they truly are a racist son of a bitch. So but again, I had to learn this stuff all on my own. Now, people that are in, especially Black families, they have a different set of rules, especially when it comes to law enforcement. When I've been pulled over by a cop, it's an even more different experience than when a Black person gets pulled over, just because there's different stigmas. I mean, there's different stigmas for Asians than there are for Black people. And unfortunately, there's a lot and stereotypes. Yeah. Okay. So I've been very lucky. Now, that's not saying that there's still a lot of people that are racist against Asians, but Black people tend to have it a little bit worse off than me. Has everyone actually seen the video? The body cam video?
I watched the whole thing in research. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous how fast it escalated.
And it
really over almost over almost nothing. I mean, Tyreek Hill has come back and said, like, maybe I could have kept the window down. And he stated he didn't keep the window down because he's famous, right? And so he's used to putting the window down and putting it right back up so people don't take pictures of him.
Which is not illegal in that state at all.
Which is not illegal.
I think he knew something was going down because he instantly called Drew Rosenhaus's agent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he kind of knew something was going to go down. Yes, he didn't help the situation, but those police officers certainly did not do anything.
And they were on their high horse. So Calais Campbell, Walter Payton Man of the Year, probably the most respectful man in the NFL, who is a new Miami Dolphin. He also got arrested in handcuffs for trying to de-escalate the situation when he's walking to the game and he sees his friend Tyreek Hill on the ground in handcuffs. And he knows that Tyreek Hill is not a guy who gets handcuffed
And he probably just walked over there to, hey, can we just talk about this?
He did.
Let's
he
figure
did.
this
They
out.
threw him right on the fucking ground
Jesus.
too. It's ridiculous.
So,
and there was one other player that got arrested, right? And I just don't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It was another Miami Dolphin though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the one thing that I listen. All right, so I had some training earlier this week about trying to look at other people's perspective. And the one thing that he preached was you should approach things with curiosity before judgment. So let's just say that officer that was knocking on Tyreek Hill's window or whatever like that was having a bad day, and unfortunately something just triggered him. Very possible. But why all of a sudden he escalates and everyone else that was with him did the same exact thing? At a certain point, no one was like, yo, maybe we need to take a step back here and think about what we're doing. They all just went at it right then and there. And Tyreek, I'm sure, was afraid for his life, just because how many times have we talked about police shootings on this show?
Well, he said publicly in his statements afterwards, he's like, what would have happened if I wasn't Tyreek Hill?
If he wasn't Tyreek Hill. There
yeah.
were so many cameras, not just the body cameras. People were just filming that were just driving by.
A lot of bystanders, yeah.
Well, and I mean, how many times do you see a guy in a fucking McLaren get pulled over and get thrown out of his car?
Right.
I mean, like he was driving a McLaren with gull-wing doors.
Yeah.
Like it's a very ostentatious car.
So, first of all, Mark, thank you for sharing your personal take on it. First of all, that was we appreciate that, and we not being born into being a minority or whatever, like I don't think it's something we can ever understand, and I can't imagine the fear that people, and like conditioning that, hey, if you ever get pulled over by a cop, here's 80 things of like perfect protocol that you have to follow to a T, or else you're fucked. And it's like, I can't imagine having to do that. And it's like, no one should have to do that. But unfortunately, it's a sad reality that that's the way things are right now. And it have been for decades and probably will be. And how do you stop it?
I knew we had to talk about this because it's important. And I was hesitant to write it. And we talked to Mark about it. I was hesitant to write it because I am aware of my privilege, and I'm aware of what my privilege allows me as a white man, as a heterosexual white man. And I could never understand what it's like to be afraid, what it's like to be cautious or fearful. Like I have a certain amount of confidence in my life, which helps me in a lot of things. And a lot of that confidence is from being the majority, honestly. And all I'm trying to do in my life, raise a daughter, work in a mostly female-run organization, is I'm trying to be aware of my privilege and aware of my place in the world. That isn't like Mel and I like to make fun of me, like in a fun way, that like I have a lot of undeserved confidence, and that undeserved confidence is funny sometimes, but sometimes it's not, and a lot of it comes from just my place in life, which I am very grateful for, and I understand.
We're not talking about this so that we can bring all you guys down or whatever like that.
This is not about being. I did not bring that up to put myself in a lower position.
Absolutely
I brought myself up
Absolutely
to be aware of the fact that I am different from that, and I could never understand that. And I think I am hopeful that the spotlight of a internationally famous football player will help everyone be aware that it is different. It's different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of faith in that because of like, look at what happened with Kaepernick, who tried to.
No, but I
bring
see
this to light
Kaepernick.
Years ago.
Kaepernick tried to bring it to light, but he tried to bring it to light, and I'm not calling Kaepernick, but maybe in a little bit of a narcissistic way to make him about himself. Nothing bad happened to Colin Kaepernick. He just got fired for going against.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I would say like his stance was not one.
It certainly was not very popular.
Right.
Okay, so
it wasn't popular, and it wasn't.
He was trying to make a message.
Right.
He was trying to send a message but the message itself was lost because of what he was of the action that he was doing.
Yeah.
So this is very clear. It's very clear that even millionaires that are minorities can be mistreated.
Yeah.
The situation was very clear. I don't know who doesn't know who Tyreek Hill is, or what police officer doesn't think that a man driving a McLaren might deserve a modicum of different treatment.
Well, I don't know if I would say that either, but
But 90 seconds from pullover to ground is ridiculous.
that to me just shows
and for no
sheer
weapons,
incompetence of
no.
character
I mean, he was
and
maybe
ability
being a
of an
little
officer.
rude, but at the end of the day, like
Totally
Tyreek Hill
being
is
rude. He was totally being rude.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he
Tyreek Hill
did deserve.
is a millionaire.
He did not
It
deserve.
No
that
way. No way.
So I don't.
I think it's
Sorry,
pretty
go
clear to me based on the list I don't have off the top of my head of the last 25 black people that got shot by the cops. That is it terrible? Yes, absolutely. Is it going to change? I don't think
Kind of
it's gonna
sad,
be-
right?
It's very
how
sad,
how
yeah.
often have we talked
Absolutely.
about this,
Yeah.
and what has changed? Zero.
I know.
Nothing. Yeah.
How many times is it going to take?
Yeah. I'm also very cynical, but I'm not.
I've
Well,
mentioned,
that's
I've
'cause we all
mentioned, I've
went to
mentioned
RPI.
certain
That's-
scenarios.
Cynical,
Yeah, I've
cynicism is
mentioned
ingrained
certain
in us.
scenarios, but John doesn't
Yeah.
like it when I bring up those scenarios.
Yeah.
No, we can't say that.
So
We're public figures now.
to bring a little bit more detail to this.
We can't fire.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys know the sports like commentator guy Rich Eisen. He has his own like show. He's like catch the Rich Eisen show every day on the Roku channel or whatever. Not a sponsor, but you could be. He had this. He was talking about it, right, and he was very concerned, and he was just saying the same thing that we are. Like, how did it go from zero to nuclear so fast?
It was so fast,
Right.
so fast.
So he had a caller that called in, and I guess this guy's been calling into Rich's show for like 10 years, who is a former cop. And I guess he was talking about it and just saying that like there's a lot of officers, and he said, a lot of times it's the second cop on the scene that's the problem. And for whatever reason, like they had a bone to pick or they had some ego, like they have to make a big impression. And he's like, it's not right. But
did it though? It wasn't just one guy.
right. Well,
It wasn't just one guy.
But-
I could maybe have a little bit more understanding. Again, if he was having a bad day, they all did it.
well, right. As soon as
Not one person stopped and said, "Guys, maybe we're not doing the right thing."
right. That's the problem. It just takes one to escalate, and none of them are going to try to then de-escalate the situation, right? And I mean, we've seen stories, obviously, like since the whole Leonard Floyd
It's
incident.
amazing. They know they're wearing body cams, and
Sure.
they did not change a fucking thing.
Right. Wasn't there a female officer that actually did try to stand up and say, hey guys, this is fucked up? And she got almost like in the crossfire and got attacked by her like fellow officers for trying to like have some reason and modicum of civility. Like,
I don't know. There needs to be more like her if that was the case. I didn't see anything.
I don't. Yeah,
like that, but-
this was during a lot of like, following the months following that whole thing, when a lot of like super police oppression and brutality and just asshole cops with like that were bullies. And this is another thing the guy said. He's like, there are way too many cops in the force that were just lifelong bullies growing up, and now they feel like as an ego thing they have to. They are the law. Right.
Yeah.
Like they're not just a, executor law, but like that they have to feel like that is their way of power, is to like to use the law as their power source to just push and oppress people and bully people with. And it's like,
So do you guys?
How do you fix,
and
like-
we're way out of time, but this issue is important. Was it interesting as far as just like a perspective thing that the initial cop on the scene was Hispanic?
Yeah. So
mhm.
I mean, in some respects, does race play a role in this? I mean, I think it does.
Which cop was it that actually is now supposedly suspended? Because I know one of them.
The first guy, the Hispanic
This
guy.
first guy,
The
okay.
one that was knocking on the window.
Okay.
And he's the one who took him down to the ground initially.
Gotcha.
He said he was like, "That's it, come out of the car." And once he came out of the car, he arrested him. Like, you know, once you come out of the car, you're fucked.
Well, yeah.
That's why he said, he's like, "Drew, I'm getting arrested. I'm getting arrested." Like, he said it very, like, I think Tyreek Hill actually handled the issue really with a lot of grace. He wasn't mad after, he wasn't mad before. Initially he was being the rich guy, but I don't really blame him for being the rich guy in the beginning. He was just being the rich guy.
It certainly didn't negatively affect his game because he played a hell of a game after that.
He did play very well. Did you see when he scored his first touchdown? A chain put his hand behind his back and he mocked up being arrested.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
I wasn't a big fan of that, but I
wasn't either. That was
I get why he did it. I get why he did it.
It got a picture. He got him on ESPN and whatever. Anyway, we're out of time, Mark.
All right.
We're all gonna have a good cry after this.
I know. Yeah, we all need to hug it out here, guys.
All right.
But we got
anyway, that has been our topics. We will be off next week, but we will come back the week after
Jamie's birthday, you guys.
Yeah, it's Jamie's birthday. We will be back with our friend Lillian Rice and a new friend Eric, which I don't remember what his last name is right now. Sorry, Eric. In the meantime, you can catch up on old episodes on YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@iftheseballspod. And don't forget to subscribe to us by, what do we want to do?
I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to...
Me neither.
You have to watch YouTube to see what it is.
We would like to thank our guests for joining us this week. Thank you, Aren.
Thank you, Aren.
Thank you. Lovely time.
You can follow or like us on our socials at IfTheseBallsPod on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. Our website is www.iftheseballscoulddtalkpod.com. This is Mark Pesci, and for my partner, John Campania, and producer, Pete Steffen. That's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Bye.